Good morning. Today we're going to talk about four subjects. We're going to talk about DC Super Pets. We're going to talk about New York City. We're going to talk about Thor of Love and Thunder. And we're going to talk about the new Hocus Pocus 2 movie. So, Super Pets. The premise is when the Justice League is captured by Lulu, starring Kate McKinnon as Lulu, Superman's dog Crypto, played by Dwayne Johnson, forms a team of shelter pets who were given superpowers to save his owner and Superman's friends. A hound named Ace, played by Kevin Hart, who becomes super strong and indestructible. A pig named Peebe, played by Vanessa Bayer, who can grow to giant size. A turtle named uh, Merton, who is played by Natasha Lyon, who becomes super fast, and a squirrel, Chip, um, who's played by Diego Luna, who gains electric powers.
There is no way to cover this well tomorrow without me covering a bulk of people.
So there's the Super Pets, the League of Super Pets, and here is
You are a dog.
the trailer.
I am the Batman. I'm not really great with animals.
I'm not really great with people. Probably because of my traumatic puppyhood.
As a child, I felt I'm not really great with animals.
As a puppy, I was taken from my family.
So I steel myself.
My emotions, I'm always in check.
No one ever getting past my impenetrable defenses. So I steel myself.
My emotions. Oh God, what the hell?
That can't be sanitary. Every day, me and Suits hang out. That can't be sanitary.
You literally worship the ground that dude walks on.
Technically, he flies. Batman works alone, except for Robin and Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, my IT crew, whoever Morgan Freeman played.
What do I have here?
Squeezy Bruce!
Squeezy what?
That better be a licensed toy or I will freak out. That better be a
Yeah, I
licensed
just have to go
toy
to
or I
verify that
will
all these people have
freak
1 to 11.
out.
Right, they do. I'm pretty sure they do. I mean, it's not like I hadn't done this for how long.
So let's talk about the city of New York. The city of New York has a population of 8.4 million people. It's 43% of the total of New York State. However, the landmass is actually only 0.6% of the total land area of New York State. Here we see the flag and the seal. Notice that the seal is actually on the flag of New York.
Breakfast with yogurt.
New York has 214 zip codes. It has 19 area codes, including 8 overlays. The area code 212, which now only covers Manhattan, was originally the only area code that New York City had until 1984. After that, there were needs for more area codes.
Check and make sure these people have all these codes, and then I'm gonna send this to her. Copy it all.
Each of the 19 area codes has 799 exchanges numbered from 200 to 999. New York is home to more than 3.2 million residents born outside the United States. It is the largest foreign-born population of any city in the world. As of 2018, New York metropolitan area is estimated to produce a gross metropolitan product (GMP) of nearly 1.8 trillion, ranking it first in the United States. If the New York metropolitan area were a sovereign state, it would have the eighth largest economy in the world. New York is home to the highest number of billionaires of any city in the world, including Donald Trump. So there's a view of the skyline of New York City. New York is composed of 5 boroughs: the Bronx, which that's the legal proper name of the borough, is the Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens. New York is split into 51 districts. Each is represented by a councilman who meet and make laws of the city on the city council. So the borough of Manhattan. Manhattan serves as the city's economic and administrative center, cultural identifier, and historic birthplace. Manhattan has been described as the cultural, financial, media, and entertainment capital of the world. It is considered a safe haven for global real estate investors and hosts the United Nations headquarters. Anchored by Wall Street, Manhattan has been called both the leading financial center of the world. Manhattan is home to the world's 2 largest stock brokerages, the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. Many multimedia conglomerates are based in Manhattan. There's a view of the skyline in the evening with all the lights of the buildings. Here's a view of Times Square. Times Square is now a very safe place. It wasn't always. When Disney started Disney actually was asked to take over one of the buildings, and when they did, it really turned that city around. Here's a picture of Central Park. Central Park is one of the biggest parks it's one of the biggest urban parks in the world. Queens. Queens is the most diversified economy of the 5 boroughs of New York. It is home to 2 New York City's airports, John F. Kennedy and LaGuardia. Landmarks in Queens which support its economy include Flushing Meadows, Corona Park, Citi Field, home to the New York Mets baseball team, and the USTA It's home to the New York Mets and the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, site of the U.S. Open Tennis Tournament, Kaufman Asteria Studios, Silver Cup Studios, and the Aqueduct Racetrack. It's undergoing rapid gentrification with investments by Chinese transnational entities. This is Hellgate Bridge that links Queens to Manhattan. That's a neighborhood in Queens. This is a site of a World Fair that happened right after World War I. Queens, New York hosted it. And this was the famous globe that's pictured. Here's a multimedia museum in Queens. Now we're moving on to Brooklyn. Brooklyn is New York's most populated borough. In the first decades of the 21st century, Brooklyn has experienced a renaissance as destination for hipsters. Brooklyn has evolved into a thriving hub of entrepreneurship, high technology, startup firms, postmodern art, and postmodern design. There's the famous Brooklyn Bridge, Coney Island. There are you see the brownstones featured in Brooklyn. Brooklyn's known for its brownstones. Okay, the Bronx. Like I said before, the legal name of the Bronx actually is the Bronx. You have to put the in there. The Bronx was mostly a rural area for generations. In the late 19th century, however, it grew into a railroad suburb. Faster transportation enabled rapid population growth, including the move from horse-drawn streetcars to elevated railways and the subway system, which linked Manhattan in 1904. The South Bronx was a manufacturing center for many years. At the end of World War I, the Bronx After World War I, the Bronx underwent rapid urban growth. Thousands of immigrants came from the Bronx, resulting in a major boom, and it resulted in much construction. Here's the famous Bronx Zoo. It's one of the largest zoos in the United States by area, and the largest metropolitan zoo in the United States. It comprises 268 acres of parklands and naturalistic habitats separated by the Bronx River. Today, the Bronx Zoo is world-renowned for its large and diverse animal collection and its award-winning expeditions. The zoo is part of an integrated system of 4 zoos and 1 aquarium managed by the Wildlife Conservation Society, and it is credited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. Here's one of the elevated stations. It's the Simpson Street elevated station, which was built in 1904, and it was opened on November 26th of that year. It is registered in the National Register of Historic Places and was registered on September 17th, 2004. There's one of the neighborhoods in the Bronx. The Bronx is home to the Yankee Stadium, located in the Bronx, New York City. It is also home for Major League Soccer, New York City FC. Staten Island. Staten Island is located in the city's southwest portion. It is separated from New Jersey by the Arthur Krill and the Kill Van Cool, and from the rest of the New York by the New York Bay. It actually is an island. The North Shore is the island's most urban area. It contains the designated St. George Historic District and the St. Paul's Avenue Stapleton Heights Historic District, which features large Victorian houses. The East Shore is home to The East Shore, is home to the 2.5 mile FDR Boulevard, the world's 4th largest boardwalk. The South Shore site of the 17th century Dutch and French Huguenot settlements developed rapidly beginning in the 1900s, and in the 70s is now mostly suburban. The West Shore is the island's least populated and most industrial part. There's Staten Island, and it's home to the Statue of Liberty. So that's probably where the first many immigrants came to America, and that was probably the first thing they saw. They wouldn't have seen all these buildings. These buildings were probably built in the 20th century. Here's some of the old historic homes. It looks quite rural, doesn't it? Okay, so now we're moving on to Spider-Man. Does everybody like Spider-Man? He's our super spider guy, isn't he? All right.
Spider-Man, where are you coming from, Spider-Man? Nobody knows who you are.
So the latest movie was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. After Quentin Beck frames Peter Parker for his murder and reveals Parker's identity as Spider-Man, Parker, his girlfriend MJ Watson, and best friend Ned Leeds and his Aunt Mary are interrogated by the Department of Damage Control. Lawyer Matt Murdock gets Parker's charges dropped, but the group grapples with the negative publicity. After Parker, MJ, and Ned's MIT applications are directed, Parker goes to the New York Sanctum to ask Stephen Strange for help. Strange casts a spell that causes everybody to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But is it corrupted when Peter repeatedly requests for alterations to let his loved ones retain their memories? Strange contains the spell to stop it and makes Peter Parker leave. Peter Parker tries to convince MIT administrator to reconsider MJ and Ned's applications, but is attacked by Octavius. Octavius rips Parker's nanotechnology from his Iron Spider suit, which bonds with his mechanical tentacles and allows Parker to disable them. As Norman Obson arrives and attacks, Strange teleports Parker back to the Sanctum and locks Octavius into his cell next to Court Connors. Strange explains that before he could contain the corrupted spell, it summoned people from other universes with the multiverse who know Spider-Man's identity. He orders Peter Parker, MJ, and Ned to find and capture them. They locate and retrieve Max Dillon and Flint Marco. Osborn reclaims control of himself from his split gremlin goblin personality. He goes to FEAST building where May confronts him before Parker retrieves him. While discussing their battles with Spider-Man, Osborn, Octavius, and Dillon realize that they are pulled from their universes just before their deaths. Strange prepares to reverse the contained spell and send the villains back to their respective universes. But Parker argues that they should first cure the villains' powers and insanity that caused their deaths to change their fates upon their return. Parker steals the spell, traps Strange in the mirror dimension, and with Mary takes the villains to Happy Hogan's apartment, where he uses Dark Industries technology to cure Octavius. The Goblin persona takes control of Osborn and convinces the uncured villains to betray Parker. As Dillon, Marco, and Connor escape, the Goblin fatally injures May. Before she dies, May tells Parker that with great power, there must also come with great responsibility. Ned discovers that he can create portals using strange sling ring, which he and MJ use to try to locate Parker. They instead find alternate versions of Parker from the villain's universes who were also summoned by strange spell and who were nicknamed Peter 2 and Peter 3. The group find the universe's Parker named Peter 1, who is ready to give up and send the villains home. The group lures Dylan, Marco, and Connors to the Statue of Liberty. Parker 1 and Parker 2 cure Connors and Marco, while Octavius arrives to help cure Dylan. And Ned frees Strange from the mirror dimension with a portal. The goblin appears and unleashes the contained spell, which ruptures the barriers between the universes, pulling in countless others. Strange attempts to hold them off, while an enraged Peter 1 tries to kill the goblin, but Peter 2 stops him. Peter 3 helps Peter 1 inject the goblin with his cure, restoring Osborn's sanity. Peter 1 realizes the only way to protect the multiverse is to erase himself from everybody's memory and requests that Strange do so, while promising MJ and Ned that they will find him again. The spell is cast and everybody returns to their respective universes, including Eddie Brock, who is unknowingly leaves behind a piece of the Venom symbiote. 2 weeks later, Parker visits MJ and Ned to reintroduce himself, but he decides against it. While mourning at Mary's grave, he has a conversation with Hogan and is inspired to carry on making his new suit and resuming his vigilantism. Here we'll see a few pictures of the movie. There's the three Spider-Men. Here's some different scenes. I like that one. Now we're moving on to Thor, Love and Thunder. Following the events of the Avengers Endgame in 2019, Thor attempts to find inner peace, but must return to action and recruit Valkyrie, Korg, and Jane Foster, who have become the mighty Thor, to stop Gore the God Butcher from eliminating all the gods. I like that picture. So now we're talking about Hocus Pocus 2. We're back, witches. Hocus Pocus 2 was directed by Ann Fletcher, written by Jen D'Angelo, and produced by Walt Disney Pictures. A sequel to the 1993 film Hocus Pocus. It stars Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, and Doug Jones, reprising their roles. Whitney Peak, Lily Buckingham, Belissa Escobedo, Hannah Waddingham, Tony Hale, and Sam Richardson joined the cast in their new roles. A sequel to Hocus Pocus was confirmed to be in development in 2019, with D'Angelo set to write the screenplay and Fletcher confirmed to direct in April of 2021. The production began in October of 2021 in Newport, Rhode Island, and it finished in January of 2022 this year. After 2 test screenings of the film indicating a week ending, reshoots took place in early June 2022 in Astoria, New York. The film is scheduled to be released on Disney on September 30th of this year. There's the witches. All right, so we're coming to the end of our video. Here's Spider-Man leaving.
Spider-Man